Alright guys, welcome back to some more Mountain Blade Warband. And so in this episode, it'll probably be a little shorter of an episode, guys, but we're going to cover a lot of ground as far as like what our near future plans are with ourself, our character, where we've came so far. So we're not too far from the beginning of the game. We're really not. We've gotten into 30, 40 fights maybe or so, battles, what have you, with Sea Raiders and other factions, lords, and so on and so forth. And so, we're in day 108, I think it is right now. And I just wanted to show you guys some stuff to keep in mind, and it'll be helpful along the way to kind of keep track of your progress. In particular is you can go to notes, guys, and you can look yourself up. So you can go to whatever faction you're in. That's an easy way to find you. I'm in Swadia, so I'll go to Swadia. There I am, right there. Yes, I changed it to Tenelka, so it's Tenelka. And I can go to my character, and it gives me a little history of her right there. Tenelka is vassal of King Harless of Kingdom of Swadia, renowned 300, controversies none, and she is the lady of Yarager, which is the little fief near Uxhall that I was granted by the king, believe it or not. Just not serving him for too long, honestly, and I think it was the noble build, maybe. Kind of accelerated things a little bit. I have been putting all of my points into leadership almost. So that's a way you can look yourself up and track you. By the way, this is where it's going to show right to rule and all of that. And we'll get to some more of that in a second. So we can back out of all of that. Return. Okay. So another thing to keep in mind, guys, is to build good relation with the other lords and the other kings and your king, or what have you, or at least build a good relation with the other lords, is go to the feast. So they're hosting a feast here right now. It was announced and everything in the game, so I knew that it was occurring, and we've been invited to it. And so you don't have to go to all of them, really. It's just you go into the castle and you have conversations with the lords, you introduce yourself and everything, and you gain some likeness with all of them. So there's two ways you can do this, guys. You can go to some of these feasts and kind of mingle for a bit and then leave, gain some likeness with some of the lords, which is not a bad thing. Or you can meet the lords whenever you're coming across one, like say out on the field here, you're just running around, come across another fellow lord, maybe stop and say hi, because just the initial greeting could gain you one in likeness, So, with that being said, we were summoned to Tyr, to the feast, so we'll go in. When they're hosting a feast at one of the main areas, guys, one of the main capitals, there'll always be a tournament. And you can totally participate in the tournament if you like. We're not going to do that this time. This time it's going to be about the political realm of things aspect is what I'm going to focus on. So we're going to join in the castle feast. And there's a bunch of them here now, so we can just speak to anybody we like, even the guards if we want to, that guard the doors. But there'll be a few ladies. Looks like there's only maybe two of us now. Ma. Alright, and then you'll have a bunch of lords around, so we can speak to these guys. Introduce yourselves, name's Tenelka, service. They have zero likeness with us, they are this person. Of the Kirgits, you say? Oh, it's one of the ones that claim to be actual king or ruler of their land, and this one's name is Sanjar Khan. Wait, no. What's their name? Alright, Sanjakar and I are brothers. Okay, so this is Jennifer Khan, and he's claiming to be the rightful ruler of this Kirgi faction, actually. So there's his backstory, anyway. I didn't really expect to run into this guy right out the way. We're not going to help you at this time, sir. I'm sorry. We're just here to mingle a little bit, so we want to talk to some of the lords. So here's the lord. It's Delvin. He likes us nothing. Well, Temelka, and it's something to like discuss in private. Now, when you have enough right to rule, say like 50 or so guys, that would be an option. And don't do it here in the castle, by the way, but do it out on the field by themselves, because they're all really sketched out about talking about anything in private with other people around. But this would be an angle towards getting them to join your faction. That's where that would go. But you can ask for tasks. You could just have basic polite conversation, advanced standings, blah, blah, blah. You know, what are my chances? Very well, good talk. Okay, we didn't gain any relation to him because we didn't have any before. There's another lady. And another lady. Alright. We got Delinar here. We're just gonna mingle, guys. So I think these are initial introductions. So I haven't met all the lords yet, but this one has heard that I've pledged myself. Still no likeness. We're just gonna go ahead and break away from you now too, sir. And we're gonna go deeper here. I think Klaus we've met before. Well, Tenelka. Lift up your cup right to the king. Harless, okay, da-da-da, do you have any? You could just talk about that we could just leave. Alright, and then we have the king, which likes us 4. Wish to welcome you on hell on a auspicious occasion. Now what is it? Now what is it? So this is where we could ask for a quest, or we could break our oath, you know, try to leave the faction, what have you. We can even suggest, you know, military actions, but we really ain't got nothing for them. We're just kind of mingling. What's up, Ray Farth? I think we've defended you before. Yes, we have. And we're just gonna let his dialogue run through as well. Shall remain your most at Ardern? Oh, well. So this guy actually likes us. It's weird playing a female role, it really is, because now would be the point in the game where I would actually look for a companion to marry. Shortly down the road, we'd have to work on them, of course. So if you're a guy character, so basically just you open dialogue with one of them, introduce yourself, oh splendid, and then you can ask, may I have the honor of knowing more about you? Now, you probably want to wait until they have a likeness a little bit with you, but you can pop this question right out the gate, because honestly, you know, whichever one you pick, you may have never met him before. So you want to get to know them. I'm not going to bother because I'm a female, but that's dialogue you would follow with that. I would do it the same thing with, say, Ray Farth, since I'm a female. Now the differences between being a female in Mount & Blade Warband and being a male character in Mount & Blade Warband is, the difference is when we marry, so I guess it's about the same, honestly, because when you marry, you gain their territories, and I suppose if there's ever a divorce, there'd be some type of agreement upon the territory split-ups, because if you have territories, say you have none and you marry Rayfarth over there, and he has, you know, 3/5 in a castle or something. You gain those 3/5 in a castle yourself, but now if you were to get divorced with him, more likely you would not get to keep them. So it's good to have something brought to the table yourself. I'm not going to plan on maybe even marrying at all. I think the only really purpose you need one for, other than the renown itself or what have you, of the political realm, to appease the political realm, they only act as like a steward of your main castle, to where you can speak to them and kind of delegate certain options that you don't have without that person in that position. And we'll cover all that in the near future, and I'll explain it a little more thoroughly when I have it in front of me myself. But yeah, they basically act as a steward of your main castle. It's considered your court, and it would be where you would hold feasts and stuff like that. But I think I'm just going to appoint one of my heroes to do that and not bother with the whole marriage ordeal. Alright, we've joined their feast and everything. We're not going to do the tournament or nothing. Do I have prisoners? I don't remember. But we can check, see if there's ransom. Baroker, and there is not. Desavi, I'm sorry, hun, but you just don't fit into me party. I've pretty much got everybody I want now as far as my named. I've got Matheld, got Leslie down there finally, Artemeter, Portia, Forentis, and Behester. I've got the main 6 that I like to run with. Usually I'll squeeze somebody else in there like Menard or Marnid or Desavi or what's her name, Cletty or whatever her name is, one of them, but usually they just kind of don't mingle well with these, and so far Leslie and Artemin are basically in love with each other. They just keep complimenting each other. Borscha's doing his thing, Forentis doing his thing, Behester and Mathel all don't have beefs with each other as far as any of the actions I've taken, so that's kind of why I roll with them. So that's to catch all of that up, guys. And let's see, so we went to a feast. It really didn't gain us anything this time. I figured we'd gain some likeness or what have you by visiting one of them. We are capped, so we can't hold any more. No, we don't have prisoners. I realize that now. And really, honestly, the time period between now and probably the next video is going to be, we're pretty much there, guys. Like, I have all my heroes now that I wanted. I'm building up a good cavalry and a good military. Other than that, just we got a strong cavalry now, especially with my 6 named and 10 knights and 4 junior knights. We've got some marksmen here, some crossbowmen that are going to cross over to marksmen eventually. We've even got a sturdy little footman or ground troop sitting here. We've got, what, 5 sergeants, so basically 6 sergeants, some infantry, which are just basically, they're 1 level under them, and a decent amount of footmen. It's a little rainbow of different footmen of different factions. And then just just 3 militia, so we're pretty much ranked the whole way. We need basically 100 men, guys. As soon as we can attain like 100 men in our battalion, we can think about breaking off and doing our own faction thing, which would be great, because then we could just carve our own path rather than serving under another faction, because trust me, they don't care really about us, and I don't care really about them. Like, honestly, they're not going to help you in your own battles. They'll run from them. Sieges basically destroy your men. You can help the faction you're serving defend the territories, honestly, if you want to play that whole role and everything. But my role is to just dominate, eventually, the whole map. So, we got a long way to go. And it's all about us. So, whatever is good for us. Like, I've avoided sieges just so that I wouldn't destroy my highly ranked battalion after taking so much grind to get them up to that. To just throw them into a siege is just senseless, I think. Unless it's benefit me, which so far it's not. So we need 100 men. So in the next episode, when we come back, I guess we're going to be closer to starting our own faction. And in honesty, we will start to gain some right to rule, I suppose, at some point. So in order to do that, you need to just keep doing what you're doing. So just fight battles rather than sell the imprisoned lords off. Just let them go, okay? Gain the honor. You can do whatever you like, either or. But my recommendation would be to let them go, gain the honor. It's going to accelerate you even faster into your renown. Once your renown gets high enough, once your honor gets high enough, your right to rule is going to kick in. It's going to be small at first, but a way to promote that, at least, is you can go to any of your heroes, if you have any of these heroes, guys, any of them, even the ones I don't have, you can go to them, say like Ferentis. We can talk to him. And we can change his equipment, we can check his skills, we can ask if he wants to separate, we can totally just let him go. You know, we can disband him, but we can talk to him as well. And we can ask him questions like, how's he feel about the companies we're keeping? And basically, he's satisfied with all of our general affairs. So that's great. Now we can go back to that and ask some of these other questions. What's your backstory? He can tell us his backstory. Family lives in Suno, but I cannot bear to face them. I was captain of horse service of the Lord Raviden, and my brother served with me, but we were both in love with the same woman, a courtesan, a temptress, who played upon our jealousy. My brother and I quarreled, and I drank too much. He slapped me with his glove, and I spit upon his sword. My own brother. My sword arm was stained with the blood of my kin. So he killed his brother, basically, over a dispute with a woman. And that's his backstory. We can ask him another question, and this is where my point is going, guys, is I suppose you know that I aspire to be queen of this land. Now, if you're a guy, aspire to be king of this land. So it's basically yes. So this, I cannot judge the legal merits of your claim. However, think that unlike of the other kings here, your capacity to unify this land, and that would put a stop to these endless wars between kingdom and kingdom, noble and noble, and brother that have brought us all in disgrace in the eyes of the heavens. So, would you then support my cause? I would tell anyone who listens of your deeds on behalf of the weak and helpless, of your ability to lead men against great odds and triumph, and tell them that if you were to become queen, there would be one law and one peace, from the Rhodoc Highlands to the Vigor Wastes, from the High Steep to the Nordic shore. Splendid. Very good. Go do that. So we're gonna send him out to spread the good word that we're looking to be queen of the land ourselves, and that's going to basically initiate our right to rule, guys. So he's going to go around for a little while spreading the word, and then he's going to come back to us. Farewell then, Captain, for a little while. Farewell. So now Ferentis is gone, out of our party right now. I think you can only send one off at a time, but when Ferentis gets back, say we could send Leslett off, or Artemin, or Bortia, or Behester, or Matheld, and then when they come back, another, and another, until all of these named have circled their globe and spread their word, guys, which gets your right to rule up a good little bit. So we're down one man. We're going to stay down one man until Ferentis comes back. Hopefully nothing bad happens to him. I don't think they've ever gotten captured or in a battle and defeated or anything to that extent while they were doing that, but might be a new thing, who knows. But yeah, so that's a good little tip right there, guys, to kickstart your right to rule. Also, let the lords go after the battle. Let them go, because you benefit so much by that. Way more than you would out of the coin that you're going to get for selling them off back to their own faction. You're going to gain respect from that lord, which will help you in the future when you're looking to recruit lords for your own faction. You'll grow quicker. You might have a whole lineup of lords ready to go if you're queen or king-like in the game. So those are the tips I have for you guys. That actually stretched this video on to about an average length, so I'm satisfied with that too. But yeah, there was a lot of ground I wanted to cover. It's a lot of the in-between, it's a lot of the politics. I have plenty more to spew out of my mouth on it all, and we'll cover it as we go, guys, and progress with this playthrough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and until next time, we'll see you later.